just listened to an opinion of a person who was a male, who was expressing his knowledge or observance of intelligent women. And it just, at first when I was listening to that, I was thinking, do I qualify in that? Am I in that category? Am I an intelligent woman? And he goes and he says, if you have been single for 2 or more years, 2 and up, that means, and then he lists why intelligent women do this, and how they will never repeat the same mistake. I'd rather be alone than falling for making another mistake and stuff like that. And of course there are lots of factors that qualify a specific person with a specific character, childhood background and whatnot. And so this morning I was talking to the director of my program at Westminster, and I was telling him how I am searching for jobs right now, because my substitute job is over with, and it's been a week. It's been a very quiet week, and I have been applying left and right in a few school districts right now. And he gave me some tips, and he is a very reasonable man, and he is willing to go lengths to help his students and alumni students. And what really left me with thinking after this conversation over the phone was that he reminded me of something, and a few people here and there this past week have reminded me of something that I try to overlook and don't really pay attention on, and I know the core of that, why that is. But people remind me of my abilities, my experience, and my capacity of what I'm capable of. And I don't do that. I don't think highly of myself. I do not know how to sell myself. I still struggle with that. And yes, I do have a lot of experience of teaching, even if it was abroad. Yes, I had different kinds of experiences working with special ed students within the general classroom, and creating relationships with them, watching their progress as the years pass and they progress in the next level, the next grade, seeing how they change, and seeing how my own kids go through the same thing too, and how that affected me as an educator and my way of teaching. It's always been my focus. I'm always interested in the students with special needs and special education, like students with that are challenged and either physically or mentally. They have been always my tender spot in my heart. I don't know how to explain it. It's just I always reached out to them, even if it was in Japan, even if I couldn't completely and freely communicate with them. I always reached out, and during the breaks, after class, before class, when I'm in the classroom, I don't know. It's not like I don't like all the students. I love all students, and I love to be with children because they teach you in many ways. They're very forgiving, they're very innocent, and they can be sometimes pain as well. With culturally different being here, I could see how a second grader can talk back at you, and I was like, oh my goodness, that my 14-year-old doesn't talk to me like that. But that's how they're raised, and you can tell what kind of home and family and parents are teaching them and or not teaching them. And Anyways, but back to the point, I was reminded of I'm able, I'm capable, I'm intelligent, and I learn quickly and I adapt. Um, Maybe that's one of the reasons why I stayed for so long in a country where I didn't feel free, and I didn't feel myself, and I had to adapt into being a person in that is just trying to survive and make it through the day. That's something that you have to be a foreigner living in that country to know. I also because I think, well, that's the truth, really. I mean, how I was raised and brought up did affect the way I think about myself. And think about it, my future me. Think about it. If you are, well, you were, but if somebody is born into a family where there is a constant turmoil going on, constant conflict and competition, and comparison, and you end up being on the side of a person who physically abuses you, mentally abuses you with sayings every day of how you're nothing and your worth is nothing, and how it was a sacrifice from her side, from your mother's side, that she brought you to life, and you owe her everything, and you're incapable of surviving by yourself without her presence and her financial support and her reputation and her pride that piles up to heaven. And growing up as a kid like that, being physically and mentally abused constantly, even with the love and support of a younger sister, it still does a lot of damage. And healing from it, with her still being alive and still being toxic, to the point where you just deliberately decide to just finish connection with that person, because it doesn't maybe do more damage, but it activates the damage from the past, and it triggers you to start self-sabotaging, that you're not enough, that you're not worthy, that you cannot accomplish anything on your own. And I think at this point, that toxic person that raised you and that damaged you and continues to try to, in every way, even if you cut all relationships with via internet or anything really, still tries to get under your skin through your memories, through certain ways of behavior, through somebody will say something and will just remind me. It's just it's a process, and healing from it takes probably, I don't know, a lifetime, I guess. And I think until she's alive, that the person who gave birth to you would be always as a presence there that haunts you. And it makes complete sense to me why I jumped into a relationship so quickly, and a marriage for time and eternity, with a person who was has exactly the same traits, if not the same, very similar. Not necessarily with physical. I've seen things, but it's not been like me being beaten up like she did, but mentally, and maybe unintentional, but they're present, and I can see the resemblance right now. And it makes sense to me. It makes complete sense. And until I stand up and decide that, yes, I have made the mistake of, well, it was not really my choice. I don't know, to be raised by that person, or continue to like, naturally to cleave into a person who is similar so that you can continue to be heard because that's all your brain and your mind knows. That takes a lot of time to get out of, and believe that you are enough, and just, being a mother itself, just being a mom of 5 kids, who need your attention, who need to listen to, guide through, teach, help, everything, give rights to places and friends, and just take well care of them and serve others as much as you can. But like being a mom itself, it just kind of like you lose yourself along the way, and you don't really know anymore what do you like, what do you want, how to enjoy a meal. I just shove everything in my mouth and just be done and clean up so I can do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, which there's always the next thing, right? And so I can see the intelligence and the logical thinking of, I don't really want to get into the same trap all over again. I have to think of the safety and the security of my children. I have to be stable in another foreign country, and that is a process, and it takes a lot of mental strength out of you too, because the to-do list is endless, and just in general, all that just is trying to smash you and to crash you, to make you think you can't do that, that's logically impossible. That's where the Lord comes. That's where the gospel comes. That's where things that don't make sense logically come in place. Because regardless of the illogical way of how we're still surviving in here for almost 2 years with my kids, I know that every step of the way I'm not alone, and there is somebody who always takes me out of the deep waters to take a breath, even if I sink down again for a while. I cannot deny that. I cannot say that there is no God. I cannot say that this is all like a foolishness of some 14-year-old boy that decided to be big and be famous and get money, because he didn't have any gain out of anything, not of the gold plates that he dug out that was shown to him, not from the translation of them. In fact, his best friend had to put and mortgage his land back in that time so he can make copies of print out 5,000 copies of the Book of Mormon, and like all those things that I know to be true have helped me, have become the very fabric of who I am and what I stand for, regardless of the hate of the world, regardless of what my birth mother thinks about me, and regardless of the fact that maybe she is jealous of what I have accomplished versus to what she has accomplished with just 2 daughters, who on the top of that were helping her the entire time we were living with her. And for her to say that she never received any help from us, that just blew me away. And my sister told me about that. It's just ridiculous. But regardless of what people think about you, there is one that gave his life for me, and he knows my worth, my potential. He sees me as I were, as I am, and as I will be. And that alone gives me strength, pulls out people, connections with, be on the right time, the right place, with the right person, so that we can make it through. It's amazing how people would literally stop by at my door with help of any kind. That's just amazing to me. That's not something I cannot comprehend with my logical brain. And that I'm deeply grateful, because I know those are earthly angels on this side of the veil and on the other side of the veil who have been sent on to help us, to lift us up. And last week, when all I did was being on this computer here and applying for jobs and setting up interviews and all that, just being so quiet, and the twins were still in their daycare, I decided that I would go to the temple every day in the morning, and so I did. And what it did to me is that, first of all, I know I'm helping somebody on the other side of the veil. Those are individuals that are precious, and just like all of us are. But the thing that it helped me is resonate those words, those covenants I make in the temple. Reminds me of my spiritual identity, my divine identity. Of it just pushes away a little bit the material world I'm in, and it gives you more the bigger picture, the plan that this little nod called mortality is in. And so doing that helped me a little bit, one baby step at a time, to believe more in myself, my abilities, what skills I have gained, what knowledge I have, how many years of experiencing education, people who have reminded me of the variety of things that I have done. I mean, I have worked more as an educator than in the sphere of the field of what I actually, my bachelor degree was in. You know, I did work with tour groups. I did work for the Polynesian Cultural Center with hospital and tourism management. I worked in with tour agency. I worked at Waikiki. I worked, you know, I was always out there with the crowd, and you know, my dream was, you know, to go with Disney, and that did not happen because I chose to marry somebody that resembled very much the traits of my mother, pride-wise, individual-wise, and treating others wise, and not the same people, but the same traits. And I think with education, going towards education, which was not even part of my plan, that was just all I could do in Japan. It helped me with the desire to help others, and especially the little ones in elementary, build them up. And I think that desire of helping kids believe in themselves is because of the lack thereof I had, because of what growing up, because of what I didn't have as a healthy family, as a person. Like, nobody built me up, and nobody told me you're smart enough, or you got this, you don't need my help to do this. No, it was always because of me you're this, because of me you're that, because of me accomplished this, because of me paying for your school you did that. And so it was constantly like, you're not enough, like whatever you're doing, you're not enough, you always will need my help, you'll be needy, you'll be. And so I have to um just plug out that mentality of, yeah, and just start believing and who you are. And um instead of I saw this cute picture of online. It was a kid chasing butterflies with the net, and it was saying, stop chasing the butterflies, plant a garden and attract them that way. And so I'm working on my garden. I'm working on my professional, mental, spiritual, and physical garden in every way I can. And so this is what I wanted to share with you, future me. And in some future point, when you look back at that video this day, you'll remember. But I hope you're in a better place, and I know you will be, because start believing in yourself today.